Today, let's talk about switch port profiles and the rXg Switch Ports Manager iOS app for the RGNet's rXg. On my rXg, you can see that I have a Ruckus ICX switch and a TP-Link switch connected and monitoring and synchronized. And if I jump over to those switches and do a show VLAN, you'll see that on the Ruckus switch, I only have VLAN 1 and 999, which are the defaults. And on the TP-Link switch, I only have VLAN 1. So let's create a couple of VLANs and synchronize them over. I'm going to go to Network and LAN. And above the VLAN interfaces scaffold, I'm going to click Create New. And let's make the first VLAN a data VLAN. So we'll just call it data. I'll put it on physical interface IGB3, which is my LAN interface. And I'll give it the VLAN tag of 2000. And I'll click Create. For the second VLAN, I'll do the same. I'm going to call this VLAN Voice on IGB3 and give it a tag of 2001. And I'll click Create. Now, if I jump down to Network and Wired, where my switch configurations are located, you'll see that my two switches here are synchronized, showing the green icon. And I'm going to make a new switch port profile for those two new VLANs. So above the switch port profiles scaffold, I'll click Create New. And I'll call the new profile Data Voice. In the box by untagged VLAN, I'm going to put VLAN 2000 for the data VLAN. And in tagged VLANs, I'll click that box and you'll see a pop-up for the VLANs. I'm going to select Voice. So this will untag VLAN 2000 and tag VLAN 2001. In the box by the ports label here, I'm going to select a couple of ports at random. So we'll select 118 on the ICX switch and 108 on the TP-Link switch. So port 8 on each switch. And we'll click Create. If we scroll back to the top, you'll see the icons under Config Sync Status for both the switches have turned yellow, and as they turn green, that means the configurations have been completed on the switches. And we'll jump over to the switches and take a look. So on the TP-Link, if we do a show VLAN, you'll see we now have VLAN 2000 and 2001, and they are both on port 8. And on the Ruckus switch, we see the same. VLANs 2000 and 2001, and they are both on port 8. Now that is one way to configure switch ports, but we can also use the application called Switch Ports Manager, or rXg Switch Ports Manager, which is available on the iOS App Store. So inside Switch Ports Manager, once you've logged into your rXg, you'll see a list of all of your switch ports. And we're going to go to the Ruckus ICX 118 that we just configured, and you'll see that it is on the switch port profile Data Voice. We're going to click the Edit button by that and change that to Default and click Save. And we'll do the same thing for the TP-Link port 108. We'll click Edit and change that to Default and click Save. And if we jump over fast enough to our rXg, you can see that the icon is yellow while it makes the changes. And then back to our switches, you can see that the ICX switch now only has VLAN 1 and 999, and the TP-Link switch only has VLAN 1. And all of those calls were made via API from the application to the rXg. Thank you very much for watching.